let's get our guest on the call, Justin Margeson. So the reason why I have Justin Margeson on the call is he decided he's in Winchester, Virginia. He moved to Winchester, Virginia to be closer to his wife's family. And fortunately, Paul Minichino that's where he runs his meeting in Winchester, Virginia. In fact, a lot of Justin's initial group was in that Winchester, Virginia meeting. And then Justin decided, you know what, I'm going to associate with someone who is better than me in selling, and I'm going to go ride with Minichino. So, Justin, why don't you take it from there, bro? Justin is rocking. He's in the Patrick Connors team. He's killing it. He's got key leader, agency manager all over him. He smelled the smoke coming off him. So, man, rock and roll.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you loud and clear.
Good deal. Hey, I'm in a little bit of a spotty area. I start to break up, just let me know. But yeah, guys, my name is Justin Margeson, direct to Patrick Connors. Actually, Alex just moved down to Winchester, Virginia on Friday, unpacked on Saturday, Sunday, and I actually gave Paul a call, and I'm like, hey, man, are you running business anytime soon? He's like, yeah, I have 10 appointments for tomorrow. I'm like, okay, do you care if I ride around with you? He's like, no, man, come on. So we left the office about 11 o'clock on Monday and just hit the road. It was about an hour and a half drive to the county that he was riding in. So during that time, I just started probably bugging him with all the questions I was asking on what I can do to get better. And just that one-on-one time that I had with him in the car was priceless. Answered a lot of my questions, got a lot of quality training from one of the top producers in the Alliance. And so I counted it as an honor to get to ride around with him. And I learned a lot. Matter of fact, we show up to the first 5 appointments, and he didn't sell one of those appointments. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, this is the guy that sells $300,000 to $350,000 in premium a year, and he just went 0 for 5. Like, that happens to me. And matter of fact, I text Patrick. I'm like, dude, the guy is human. I said he doesn't sell all of them either. And one crazy thing is that I got to see is the second appointment that me and him ran. And what was kind of neat is the county that he ran in was very close to D.C., so every single appointment that we ran on was someone from a different country. So that was really cool, seeing how he handled the different cultures and the clients and things like that. So the second appointment was a lady from Iran, and he had door knocked the lead the week prior and said, hey, I've been trying to get a hold of your mom. The lady's son answered. She was at work, and he's like, she requested this information on mortgage protection, and can you give her this yellow sticky, tell her to give me a call. And so we show up, and we knock on the door. She doesn't answer. He knocks again. She doesn't answer. So he's like, well, I'm going to try giving her a call. So he calls her up, says, hey, we had an appointment. I'm standing outside. She's like, yeah, I'm not interested. And he's like, okay, well, can we sit down for a couple of minutes? I'm here. She's like, you guys got 15 minutes. So we walk inside, and you could tell from as soon as she opened the door, her guard was up. And she was just very stern and to the point. And what was really cool, Alex, is kind of seeing how he handled that. She was trying to sit there and rush him. And he's kind of just like, yeah, I'll get to that, and just asking more and more questions. And I thought that was really cool. As the appointment went on, she started getting nasty with him, started getting very rude, and pretty much calling him a liar, saying you're a sales guy and you didn't tell my son what you were really wanting, and he said that you were just looking for me, and he had some important documents that you had signed, and you needed to talk to me. So he was freaked out, and I knew you're a salesperson, but you're not honest. Just be honest. And so he's like, ma'am, I promise you, I told him what was going on. I showed him the form, and so she just kind of lights into him. And I'm sitting there, Alex, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I feel the tension, and I'm sitting there like, is this really happening? We need to get out of here. And he was just calm and collected the whole time. And finally, he was like, he packed up his stuff, and he's like, you know what? He's like, you don't trust me. And she's like, you're right. I don't trust you. Why would I trust you? You lied to my son. And she's like, just give me the rates and you can go. And he's like, look, even if I find something that makes sense, we're not going to do business. You don't trust me. And so eventually we just packed up and left. But I thought it was cool. Like, that's something that, you know, as myself, I'm looking at these top producers, and I'm like, and everyone's heard it before, like, man, those guys, they must just get all the A leads and the good leads and the good clients, and that's how they write so much. Like, this was a lead from 2014, or actually it might have been 2013. And he like I said, he didn't sell the first 5 appointments. But one big takeaway that I got was, look, don't take your last appointment to your next appointment. As soon as we got in the car, he laughed about it. He's like, man, that was interesting. He's like, hey, on to the next one. And as we're pulling out, he's like, you know what? I'm just glad I'm sitting with people. And that really kind of hit me hard. I'm like, he just got absolutely beat up and chewed out and spit out, and he still had a positive mindset. He was like, hey, I'm at least sitting with someone. They could just not be home. They could just go be knocking on doors all day. And so that was a big takeaway. Probably my number one is don't take your last appointment to your next one. So I thought that was really cool. The second thing, Alex, is as soon as we got in the car to leave the office, he looked over. He's like, okay, here's something that you're going to learn today. He's like, I'm not a good sales guy. You're going to learn that I just outwork everyone. So, I mean, right off the bat, I was like, okay, he just books a ton of appointments. He's relentless, and he has more shots than most people. And so, I mean, just book more appointments. The more appointments you book, the more sales you're going to make regardless. He said, he did tell me this. He's like, look, 2 out of 10 people are going to buy insurance from anyone. He's like, you could just walk up, say, here's the rates, and they're going to say, okay, let's fill out the paperwork. And they said 2 out of 10 people are going to buy or aren't going to buy from anyone, no matter who you are. He's like, and then the other 6 appointments is where you make your real money. And I thought that was really cool. So my number 2 takeaway was just book more appointments, work harder, work more. My third thing, and this blew my mind, Alex, and I was sitting there and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. But the third one is assume the close. And how he did it, and I'll kind of branch off for a sec. When he was in the home, he did the exact same thing every single time. I mean, the way he walked into the house, he did the exact same. The way he pulled out his ATM, hey, this is my dummy-proof guide. I like to talk. I'm sure you guys know that. So this is going to help keep me on track, so I just don't talk about nothing. I mean, everything he said was the exact same every appointment. And one cool thing that he said that I picked up on, I was asking him about this, and he's like, dude, you're the first person in 5 years that has ever picked up on this. And he's like, it's a key point in my ATM, and that's when he starts getting the quotes. He looks at the clients and says, hey, do you guys care if can I get like a glass of water or something? And they're like, yeah, sure. So they get up and leave. And it kind of it's like he said, that's my time to kind of just breathe, and that's my little break. So I'm sitting there quoting. They're not looking over my shoulder. They're not trying to figure out what the price is before I show them, things like that. And he said, that's huge. So he's going through, when he writes out the quotes, he says, okay, here's your 3 options. Here's what they came up with for you. Which one of these fits your needs and budget the best? He slides it over and gives them the pen. And they circle one as soon as they say something like, I think this one will work out. He says, okay, I need your driver's license so that I know that you guys are who you say you are. And then he pulls out the application. He starts filling it out immediately. There's no room for them to say, well, I want to think about it, or anything like that. As soon as they say, well, this one would probably fit my budget best. Okay, I need your guys' ID. And I thought that was really cool. Matter of fact, the one appointment that they closed, the guy said, he started asking questions. He's like, this 190,000 plus 190,000 accidental. He's like, it's gonna pay out the full amount if I die in an accident. And he's like, yeah. He's like, matter of fact, can you guys go get your driver's license? I need your and your wife's license so I can make sure you guys are who you say you are. And he pulled out the app and started writing them. The guy didn't even say, yeah, this one fits our budget or anything. And he wrote 2 policies for like $1,700. And I thought that was crazy. And I think at least that's where I go wrong. And I think I'm sure a lot of newer agents do the same thing, is they're not assuming the close. They're going into the home thinking, hey, I'm not going to sell this. Yeah, they booked the appointment. I'm probably not going to make the sale, but I'm going to go ahead and run the appointment anyway. And that's the mindset, Alex, that I was going in with. Like, yeah, I have the appointment. They agreed to meet with me. They probably won't buy, but I'll take my chances. So those are the 3 things: is don't take your last appointment to your next one. Just book more appointments, work more, work harder, and assume the close.
That's awesome, dude. We have actually a Minichino call that we did that he laid out his whole 2014 maybe it was, all his numbers. He calculated everything on a spreadsheet, from his closing ratios, what he sold, amounts, every ratio you can think of, and he was just about average. He wasn't awesome. He was just about average, but he was more average than the average person because he did more. And it's exactly what you said, and I love it. Now, okay, I thought Patrick was telling me something about the way he laid out his options. He kind of did, he just lays all 3 out, or he said this one or this one, or he just kind of just says which one of these fits your needs and budget, and then they circle the one, right?
Yeah, how he does it is really cool. So he actually, his 3 options, his first option is what it will be to cover the entire mortgage. The second option, now granted, if they qualify for that and all that, his second option is going to be what it's going to cost to cover half the mortgage. So on that one I was telling you about, it was $190,000 was half the mortgage, and the other half he did accidental death. So he said, hey, this is going to cover half of your guys' mortgage. It's going to take care of that in case of a death or disability. And he said, now if you guys die in an accident, and he really paints a picture, like if you guys are driving down the road and there's a teenager who's texting and driving and they're not paying attention, say you guys are in a car accident or what have you, he said it's going to double and your entire mortgage is going to be taken care of, and here's the price for that. And then the third option, he's like, this is what's going to cost to cover the entire mortgage, accidental death only. So God forbid you guys both die in an accident. And he even, a few times he used the that accidental death chart, and he kind of showed them, hey, at your age, accidental death is the number 1 cause of death, and this is what it's going to cost you.
Yeah, that's the accidental death rates, the cause of death, leading cause of death rates for different 10-year bands of age. And we have that in our ATM, at least the ones that you guys can download on my website. I've included that, where you can show that accidental death is like, under age 45 is the number 1, I think, number 1 leading cause of death. And so and then after age 45, it's like number 2 or 3, but you can really make the case for accidental death. And to write an accidental death only policy, you need your health license. Okay, so that's why if you only have your life license, you need to get your health license right away. I don't recommend it right away for, some people, they get it all at once. But you need it so you can get very effective in just doing accidental death only. That's cool. That's cool. I like how Paul does that. I know we've talked about that on this call before with him. on how he lays out his options. So that goes back from, James and Jane talking about just, make it simple. That's exactly what they've taught all their people. 3-option close, man. Pick the one that fits your needs and budget. They pick one, okay, and they start filling out the app. That's good stuff, man.
Yeah, one last thing really quick. He actually pointed this out. Me and him rode to Knoxville on Tuesday and ran the hotspot over there. And one thing he pointed out to me on the way down there, and we trained on it that night, he said a lot of new agents, when they're going through their ATM, he said they mess themselves up by kind of asking what the client wants. So his big thing is, like, when he trains people, he said, don't ask them what they want, ask them who they're trying to protect. So really build their why on who versus what. He's like, you're not going to sell a 75-year-old a $200,000 mortgage protection plan to cover his entire mortgage. But if you ask them who you're trying to protect, you can kind of go from there, and it gives you a lot more kind of leeway and freedom to get them the plan that they really need. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's awesome, dude. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Here's the thing that I am so down with this. Don't give them rates if you haven't done everything else. Like, if you haven't had a good enough bond and rapport to create trust and believability in you, and you haven't found their pain, and you haven't done any of that, and then they, treat you like crap, and, they don't trust you, dang, I don't care what kind of rates you give to them. And what happens is you're like a beggar. You're begging for the sale, and all of a sudden your self-image in the business gets dropped down from a 10 to a 5 to a 3. And when your self-image in the business goes down, man, you're going to be begging everybody to make a sale. You have to feel proud about the business that we're in, and that only so many people deserve to be your client. You can't give up the rates because you're begging for a sale, because it will mess your self-image up, your business self-image, and it'll kill you in this business, gang. You got to stand proud and don't give them one dadgum rate. Walk the heck out of there, all right, with your head held high, knowing that this too shall pass. I'll move to the next one, and then you forget it and move on. Forget it and drive on. Fido, forget it and drive on. Short memory, man. Every athlete, but Justin played baseball at a very high level. You don't remember when you struck out last at bat. Now you're swinging the bat again. So I love that part. I forgot even who I was talking to about that very subject earlier this week. I said the exact same thing. Hopefully he's hearing it different from you through Minichino. Here's actually the kind of cool thing about you talking about riding with Minichino. It's kind of like the disciples talking about Jesus after he went to heaven. And they're fired up. And they're talking, this is what he said. This is what he did, man. And you're talking about it like, I was there. I saw it. And I'm like believing you so much because you witnessed it yourself. And it's almost as effective as Minichino saying what he's doing. In fact, I think it's more effective because you've witnessed it. And now we get to hear Minichino when he talks. We know from a third-party confirmation that it is what it is. It's what he says it is because you witnessed it. So, dude, you rock, man. I appreciate you taking the time out of your life and your family to go and get with somebody. And now your belief level is like jammed up high, and I appreciate it even more that you shared it with us, dude. So,
yeah, I appreciate it, Alex.
You're rocking. It even more that you shared it with us, dude. So,
yeah, I appreciate it, Alex.
You're rocking.